many people do have religious views that are inimical to the public safety of the United States. I did not want to have a resolution that suggested that that could not be a factor in the vetting process before someone is admitted. But I have no belief and do not support the idea that Muslims as a religious group should be denied admission to the United States.
All right. What is that about? Thread, needles, something like that? Obviously, the choice for Attorney General on the part of Donald Trump, trying to separate himself a little bit, but not too much from Donald Trump, not targeting Muslims, but just those whose religions could come up to be a problematic issue. The gist of it is this, that as Attorney General of the United States, he will not be targeting Muslims. But in a nod to his boss, he will look at such issues that could come up, which is kind of having your cake and eating it too, which is a stupid expression if you think about it, because if you have the cake, you might as well eat it. But I digress. Jed Babbin is the former Undersecretary of Defense under Bush 41. Secretary, did he effectively divide that and deal with that in a way that would satisfy those on that committee?
I think he really didn't divide it much, and I think the committee is going to be satisfied with it nevertheless. I mean, look, Neil, you have to really look at what we're talking about here. The primary demographic for terrorists these days is Muslim males between the ages of 16 and 50. Now, you're not going to include in that group Lutheran grandmas from Minnesota who are 75 years old. So if you don't look at the people,
unless they have violent intentions.
Well, okay. Right. I mean, there may be one, but I'm not related to any of them. So okay. But the point really comes down to you have to look at certain people, or you're not doing the job. You're not doing the vetting.
And I felt that was the pin he was dancing on there, because he couldn't say that outright, but that it would be among the things that he would look at as Attorney General. And I don't know if, obviously, the people who aren't intending to vote for him are not going to vote for him, and this will just seal the deal on that. But I don't think it's a shock what he said. But it didn't get much traction.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to get much traction. I think the issue is what it is. I think that even the Democrats have to realize that you have to look at the people who are likely to be terrorists in order to filter out those who are not going to be. So if you deny that fact, and the Democrats really have gone to that point sometimes, if they deny that fact, they're just discrediting themselves. It's just that simple. You have to look at certain people, and you have to look at certain religions, and if you don't, you're just simply not doing a vetting job. You're not doing it all.
Jed, what did you make of what he had to say about a zero-tolerance border security policy in Arizona that he says was doing its job, very effective? The Justice Department effectively screwed things up with rules that undermine what it was supposed to do, effectively to keep out bad guys and people who shouldn't be here, period. Many have interpreted that policy as racist and targeting ethnic groups. So I thought they made a few leaps there that weren't fair or right. But the Justice Department did go after Arizona Border Patrol agents and the like, and sheriffs. So Joe Arpaio comes to mind, and others. He seems to be indicating under the new sheriffs in town, he had Justice and obviously the President, that will change. In what way?
Well, I think what they're going to do is simply implement border controls that look for people who are coming in illegally. And, regardless of their race, creed, color, wherever they're from. I mean, if they're coming here from Somalia, or they're coming here from, bordering Mexican states. I mean, they're coming here from Ecuador. We have to look at everybody coming in here illegally, and we have to get those who are coming here to do harm quickest and most effectively. I mean, we have the testimony of General Kelly, who's going to be up here pretty shortly to his own confirmation hearing for Department of Homeland Security. He testified, I think, in 2015 to the Senate Armed Services Committee, and to the effect that we have a porous border that is dangerous to national security because people like Hezbollah are coming through it. So, we have to face facts, and the Democrats and the Justice Department under President Obama has not been willing to face the facts.
I know you're in the area of defense, and that's your expertise, but you're also well-read on everything, so I'm not wasting my time to ask you this question. We're getting word that Donald Trump wants Republicans to repeal the Affordable Care Act immediately and replace it shortly thereafter. This is coming from a variety of sources, the New York Times, the latest. But it comes at a time when Republicans are getting kind of itchy about repealing it, but not having anything in its place. Rand Paul, for example, on this show had said that that was the best route to go. and that he supposedly had the president-elect's support. Apparently that's not the case. To me it looks, Secretary, like the Republicans are kind of stumbling out the gate in their newfound position of having the complete run of the table, that is the House, the Senate, and soon the White House. What do you think?
Well, I think you're right. I think they're a little bit stumbling, and I think they're quite scared of what's the responsibility. I mean, this is where campaigns collide with governing. You have to actually put things in place. You actually have to do stuff at this point. I think the Republicans would be very wise. They've got plans ready. I mean, I dealt with these when I was editor of Human Events 10 years ago, when then Congressman Tom Price, still Congressman Tom Price, soon to be Secretary of HHS. He had a great plan when Obamacare was being enacted that was an alternative to it that would be ready right now. I mean, I guess if you go to Tom Price, you can repeal it one day, repeal it in the morning, repeal Obamacare in the morning, and put Tom Price's bill in the afternoon, and there's no slack. That's what they really need to do.
Well, easier said than done, but we'll watch it. Jed Babbin, always good having you, my friend. Happy New Year to you.
Thanks, pal. Same to you.
All right, Jed Babbin, a good read on all things Washington.